racing positive effect, but all the technical stuff. But a lot of things, especially we surf big waves. People don't understand surfing's the easy part. Surviving's hard, and that's kind of what I train people to do is the survival. If you have a clear mind and you don't think emotionally, you can make justified decisions of how to survive. So it's those kind of things and stuff too. And I don't think majority of people want to surf big waves, but it's just good to know that if you get into a bad situation, you're not asking yourself questions. You know the answers, and that's kind of the difference.
True.
Waterman.
This is all in one piece.
Yeah.
These guys took one of Jamie Mitchell's winning race boards, the paddleboard, chrome paddleboard. They ripped it in half, glued up a spacer plug in it, and when they reglassed it, it was, 60 pounds or something like that? But it was 17 feet long, 60 pounds. But, and took it to Hawaii Kai, put on the test track, and started going, and, it was just a lot of fun, at that kind of cut and try stage. Things, took off after that. But,
like the early days of flying, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I try to model everything. I'm the designer of all the boards. I've been shaping since 1975, and I always try to mimic that era of aviation in the 20s and 30s when the amateur enthusiast could still put stuff together in his backyard and fly it. And that's kind of what we're doing here. It's right under the stamps, yeah. Yeah, two more. Well, here.
Practice hula too.
The head, and that's the wrong thing to do. I tell people, balance with your core, your hips. So it's more you're faster in moving your hips than your head. Also, when you're paddling and stuff, also too, it's this is a longer paddle, just a natural reach. I tell people when you do paddle, just get a relaxing kind of hold, just off to the side, and that's kind of your grip when you set your grip. So when you paddle, you just reach forward, throw your shoulder forward, and then when you paddle back, just right up to here. That's it. And hang your stroke. Don't bring it all the way back, because you change your CG and you fall off. Dave,
well, these things are, when you try them, they're a lot like airplanes. They're unstable on all three axes. They're pitch, yaw, and roll. So on a longboard that you get, if you get an oversized one to learn, the only instability axis you're going to worry about is your roll, like this. They're going to be long enough to be stable, longitudinally. But when you see it on shorter, ones like this, you have to worry about your, your pitch instability, as far as the nose going down. One of the key things about these things is we have to make them so that they can be surfed, but at the same time, they have to be fun to paddle on. And on the shorter ones, or as you're seeing now, people will take a stroke, and it's a lot like those little kayaks. One stroke on this side, and the nose yaws the other way. So we try to design them so that you can keep paddling on one side, and the board will relatively go pretty straight. And that's all it has design features with the outline and rocker and even the rail edges and whatnot. So this is actually pretty good approximation of how much roll you get in the water.
Yeah. You probably even pull the tires in on the outside ends and get some pitch on it too, huh?
So you pretty much find what the the center of the board, and if you go out in places where it's by leaning on this paddle. So you're using the paddle as not just a implement to catch the wave, but you're also using it to take this big board and turn it into a high performance board. You can actually lean on it, and then when you go and do an off the lip or cutback, you go back on it like this.
A lot of this stuff, if you
paint it, my daughter paints all the paddles and stuff, You can paint daddy's paddle, or you can put stickers on top, something bright, but personalize them, make them your own, that kind of
we have colored paddles now, and colored grips and things like that, yeah.
So those kind of things can...
If you lose it?
Yeah, you lose them, you can identify them.
Yeah.
Paint on it.
One of the things too is, I tell people, it's educate yourself about your environment. It's like the lifeguards are telling guys, understand where that rip runs, where that current goes to, where the rubbish line is above the water, where it is below the water. You know exactly where your board's going. Understand the wind flow, if you're paddling offshore. So it's those kind of things and stuff. But go to your ability. again, when you wipe out with this too, people ask, what do you do, in the surf? Like, say, I'm underwater, you don't have fins. What I do is I actually put the blade like this, slice up the water when I'm underwater, turn my blade like this, and then I'll can open myself up to the surface. So I'll do that a couple times rather than kick and swim and use all that unnecessary energy, because underwater, energy is oxygen. The more energy you burn, the more oxygen you burn, and then that's where people panic and drown. So for me, when I do them and stuff too, it's just less energy, less work, and I'll use more, less effort and more energy, and just pull myself up. And that's one. The other one is put your blade like this, kind of like on the blade, and you spin around, and you create like on corkscrew, and you spin up to the surface. So there's many ways you can play around. The other one too is when you have your leash, and for bigger waves, most people, they're trying to swim up when the board is pulling and the wave is pulling, but you're working against energy, you're working against the environment. Your leash is hooked onto your bottom of the leg, and it's the waves, the board is being pulled that way. So what happens? You become a sea anchor, and all this right here becomes a planing surface, and it's pulling you down, and you're trying to swim up, so you're fighting against everything. So what I tell myself and other friends is that put your head down, put your feet up, because what happens is, as it's pulling, relax, it's going to pull you up, as long as your feet is up higher than your head. And then the other thing too is, if my feet is up here and the leash and the board is pulling, I'll use my blade and kind of act like a squid, and just use this to increase my energy and stuff backwards and be pulled up to the surface. So again, be a professional. When I say wiping out, understand how to get back up quickly.
So don't let go of your paddle.
I use this as
Yeah. Actually, it's funny, when we first started pushing out into bigger waves, it felt strange falling off and holding a paddle, but now I feel naked without it, because I actually do use it like to flutter, and I get up to the surface a lot faster.
Yeah. I mean, it's a piece of technology that can enhance and augment your ability. That's what it is. We use this to paddle faster. But even when you fall off the board, it's still a piece of equipment that can enhance my speed. I can swim around faster, I can get down faster. If I wanted to swim down and kick, I could put my feet down, and I could use this like this, and I can pump down to the, below the surface. Same thing, if I'm swimming up, I can do that also too. I mean, you can be as creative as you want with the paddle, but again, every piece of equipment, make it an extension off of yourself. That's all things are. It's just an extension of your own ability. We increase our agility, we increase our speed. One of the things I teach in risk management is the way you create safety in the water is 5 things. It's like your fingers in your hand. You need speed to outrun danger. You need strength to hold back danger. You need agility to outmaneuver danger. You need flexibility to bend and contort to danger, to reduce injury, and E to endurance to outlast danger. And it's an acronym for SAFE, SSAFE. If you can train in that kind of, strength, speed, agility, flexibility, endurance, then, that's going to make you that much safer out in any environment. I feel like I teach you on risk management class.
Bonus.
Yeah. Any other questions?